Hello everyone, and welcome to my corner of the world, and welcome to the next in my series of techniques using the Stamparatus. And today I'm going to be sharing another hinge stamping technique. I did have one an earlier one, but this one is taking it slightly differently, and so this is the card that I'm going to create. So first thing is that at the moment I'm only going to need one of my plates, so I'm going to set that to one side, and I'm going to be using two different stamp sets. One is a red rubber one, which is the touches of texture, and then the other is a photopolymer one. And so when I start stamping, I'm not going to need to use the black foam mat at this time, so I'm going to set that to one side. So I have my piece of cardstock, and I'm going to take one of my magnets from the bottom, from underneath, and just pop that in to hold my card in place. I'm just going to stick a stamp pad underneath just to level that out, and then I'm going to be using this to create my background. So I'm going to place it down to start with on my card, flip the plate over and pick up on it, and then I'm going to be using Sahara sand. I want a really pale background. That's my palest colour that I have in a neutral tone, but it's not quite pale enough for what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a piece of scratch paper down, and then just press gently, then lift, and then I'm going to pop my ink down. So that's my first one. Then I'm going to pick up my plate horizontally, remove, and then move it down just one notch of the hinge, re-ink, and then just place my piece of scratch there, gently take some of the excess ink off, and then again pull up one notch down, re-ink, stamp off, and then just stamp down. So that gives me a really subtle background. I don't know if you can just see it there, just to give me some feature in the back. So now I am going to turn my paper around, and I'm going to flip my plate around and take my next stamp. So I'm going to place it where I want it here, and also my card has got a little dragonfly on it, so I'm going to place my dragonfly where I want it, just there, pick them up on my plate. And so I'm going to swap out my colours a moment, and this time, oh come on sweetie, there you go. And then I'm going to be using soft suede, so I can ink both of them up at the same time, and then put them down. I'm going to double check my colour. I want a little bit more strength of ink on these ones, so I'm just going to re-ink, and because I've not moved anything, when I place this down it's going to be in exactly the same place, so it makes great repeatability if you under ink. So there we are. If I was doing multiple versions of this card, I could just do all my backgrounds and then go in and do all my flowers and dragonflies. So now I'm going to take this plate out and set it to one side. I'm going to remove my piece of card, and I'm going to add my black pad back, and I'm going to take my next plate and pop it in. I'm going to position my piece of card where I want it, and now I'm going to be doing my greeting with a photopolymer stamp. So I'm going to position it where I want it to be. Hopefully it's level. I can use these grid on my plate, and that looks as though it's pretty level. So pick up, and now I'm going to ink and position. I want a little bit more colour, so I'm going to ink, and then there we go. And then I've got a little bit of ink on the side here, which I can use my Simply Chamois to do. Oh, I might get my head in there, and just lift it up to see. I think I'm going to put a tiny bit more ink on my greeting. Oh, much better. So there we are, with all the stamping is done. So to finish this particular card, I took a blender pen and I used powder pink and pear pizzazz to colour in my flowers and leaves. So all I've done is I've got some ink on there, pick up a little bit of ink with my blender pen, and I'm just going to go in and just do my leaves. And I want it all pastel, I don't want a lot of depth of colour here. And then you can use your piece of scratch paper to clean off the ink, run it clear from your blender pen, and then I'm going to just go in with some of the pale ink, pale pink. This is the powder pink, and just gently colour in my flowers. So there we are. So I will have more details on my blog about this card. I've layered it onto powder pink and then onto a vanilla card base. You can see I stamped my dragonfly inside and then a few pearls on the outside. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video showing you this technique with Stamparatus. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very much for your time. Bye for now.